So our next speaker really walks in Harvey Milk's shoes in many different ways, is very dear to my heart. When we worked on his campaign, many members of Access of Love and other patient groups were extremely dedicated, and it really felt to us similar to walking with Dr. Martin Luther King, or being, feeling that energy of hope. And he's been a great protector of both of our sanctuary communities in San Francisco, being the immigrant community and the medical cannabis community. And with no further ado, I'd like to bring up Supervisor David Campos.
Good evening, everyone. Let me just say that I will disagree with the statement about Harvey Milk or Dr. King. I don't think that anyone can really live up to that. But I am very honored to be here tonight as part of this town hall that the Harvey Milk LGBT Democratic Club is putting together now for the second time. I do think that it's only appropriate that a queer club is the one that's leading the way on this very important civil rights issue. Yeah. And let me say that as important as Harvey Milk has been as a figure, there are many other people that fought that fight and that continue to fight that fight. And I have to single out someone who is a mentor to me and who I really believe more than anyone else in not only San Francisco, California, and national politics embodies the spirit of Harvey Milk, and that's Tom Amiano. And I know Tom is not here tonight. His office, though, is represented, and I think that following on the footsteps of Tom Amiano as the District 9 Supervisor makes it easier for me, because a lot of times in politics, especially in City Hall, things get to be a little complicated. And I do think that there is something about simplicity. There really is something about the very basic question of what is the right thing to do. And when that is the question, I think that everything sort of clarifies itself and it becomes crystallized. And so let me say that my office has, from the very beginning, been committed to the issue of cannabis. I would not be in office without the work of so many cannabis activists, and I especially want to thank the Access of Love for all the work that they have done. And having been elected by people who believe in this civil rights issue, it's only appropriate that my office would take the lead on that issue. And which is why for the last, it feels like it's almost a year, but it's close to that, for many months, we have been working with the very diverse cannabis community to develop a task force that provides advice to the Board of Supervisors. And I want to especially acknowledge the work of my legislative aide, Lynette Peralta-Haynes. Lynette is not here right now. Maybe she'll come later on tonight. But she has made it possible through her leadership to make that task force a reality. And it is something that has been envisioned for quite some time. And you know you're on to something when the Chronicle, by way of Chuck Nevius, agrees with what you're doing. You know that the cannabis community and the medical cannabis community has made an impact in San Francisco when the very conservative newspaper of the Chronicle, through their conservative columnist, basically says that what the community is doing is a good idea. And I think that's a testament to all the work that has gone into this for so many years. And I want to thank you the cannabis community for making that happen. Thank you very much. So give yourselves a big round of applause. And let me say that we are on the cusp of a new direction, not only in the state of California, but nationwide. And I think it's only appropriate that San Francisco lead the way in that effort. San Francisco has done that before, and San Francisco will continue to do that going forward. And this office, the District 9 office, will continue to be a partner with the cannabis community. It is your office because it is the right thing to do. I also want to acknowledge the work of someone who has been very critical on the Board of Supervisors, and that's Supervisor Ross Mercurini. Supervisor Mercurini took a very courageous step in drafting the legislation that led to the regulatory system that's in place in San Francisco, and it is truly a system that has become a model for the rest of the country, the rest of the nation. People are looking to San Francisco for how you do this right, and I think that Ross needs a lot of credit for that. Now, Ross was going to be here tonight, but his beautiful baby boy, Theo, is sick. And he is so committed to this community that I know that he was going to come anyway, and I told him the cannabis community will understand if you stay home. And so his message was, and I told him that I would convey this message to you, that going forward we need to work together, especially now more than ever, and that we need to focus on a couple of things, beginning with the regulation, taxation of cultivation, and that we also need to help solidify taxation for cannabis, but of course for non-medical cannabis, which is very important. So with that, I will simply say this, that this is the future, not only of San Francisco, but of the state of California and the country. And we need to make sure that what happens in San Francisco is done right. And I know that we have a very diverse community, and that's what makes this community so strong, that diversity. But to be able to get to where we need to be able to convince the Chuck Neviuses of the world, we need to be united as a community. To transcend our individual agendas and our individual beliefs and interests, as important as they are. And it doesn't just mean cannabis. It has to go beyond cannabis. Because cannabis as an issue will not go forward unless other human rights, civil rights issues also move forward. The last thing that I would say, if you look at the issue of same-sex marriage as an example, same-sex marriage, I think, in the end was defeated because we weren't able to reach out to those communities that are not LGBT, that are not queer, but also have a stake in civil rights. And that's what this is. It's a civil rights issue. It's about individuals being self-empowered. And to be able to have that kind of empowerment individually, each and every one of us needs to make sure that other people, other communities have that same right, that same ability. That is ultimately what Harvey Milk was about. That is ultimately what Tom Amiano is about, and whatever I can do to be a part of that, I would be more than honored to do so. Thank you very much, and have a great evening.